Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For much of the 1990s, actor-comedian Martin Lawrence was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood with a popular long-running TV show, a hit stand-up album and a string of box office hits. But like countless celebrities over the years, Lawrence found it difficult to maintain his momentum over the long haul after a handful of ill-advised projects and the slow decline of his long-running sitcom. His ascent started to stall toward the end of the decade, and his star power has been on the wane ever since. Many of Lawrence's most ardent fans have spent the last few years wondering where their beloved bad boy has disappeared to. And if you are anything like us, you have missed his signature brand of humor. We dug deep into Lawrence's personal and professional history to figure out where he's been and where he's going. Here's a look at what the funny man has been up to over the years. Lawrence did not start out dreaming of a career in entertainment. While still in high school, the future star was actually a Gold Glove boxer in the Mid-Atlantic region. He wanted to go pro, but gave up on fisticuffs after suffering a severe injury to his eye, and it was not long before he found his way to the stand-up stage. After relocating to New York, Lawrence worked his way into a regular slot at comedy club The Improve, where his hilarious, often controversial act caught television producer attention, and he made his TV debut on the What's Happening sequel series What's Happening Now. A brief but memorable turn in Spike Lee Do the Right Thing, along with several more sporting roles, followed. In 1992, Lawrence received an early leg up from Def Jam Recordings head honcho Russell Simmons, who handpicked him as the first host of Def Comedy Jams, his HBO series spotlighting young black comedians. One of the first acts Lawrence introduced, a babyface Chris Tucker. It proved a pivotal year for Lawrence. Not only did he deliver a scene-stealing performance in the Eddie Murphy comedy Boomerang, he also put his talents front and center with his very own Fox sitcom, the aptly titled Martin. The show proved a major hit with audiences and made its star a household name. His catchphrase, "Was up?" even became a bit of the cultural phenomena. That was enough to land him a role opposite another TV star in a major Hollywood film. The co-star was Will Smith. The film was Bad Boys, and the rest, as they say, is history. On the heels of major box office success, Lawrence kept himself busy, maybe a little too busy. With his first post-Bad Boys role, the actor set out to reaffirm his leading man status while proving he could write and direct too, but the pressure of carrying a film almost entirely on his own may have proved too much. Weeks into filming the dark romantic comedy A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, the actor had a meltdown on the set and was hospitalized for exhaustion. The film would go on to be a modest hit, but the episode certainly did not help his reputation in Hollywood. Rather than take some time off, Lawrence continued to book new work, and he suffered another episode, this time stalking the streets of LA with a pistol while shouting, "They are trying to kill me," at passing cars. His second bout with exhaustion led to another hospital stay. This time Lawrence got the message and stepped away from the spotlight to heal. While his professional fortune skyrocketed, Lawrence's private life grew turbulent. The comedian spent much of the 90s struggling with personal issues that threatened to derail his career. He became engaged to Saved by the Bell actor Locke Voorhees in 1993, but the relationship fell apart before he rebounded by marrying former Miss Virginia Patricia Southall in 1995, and the pair had 2 children together before divorcing in 1997. It would be over a decade before Lawrence walked down the aisle again, and he used that time to stabilize himself and play doting father to his daughters, not to mention putting energy and focus into getting his act back together. Lawrence eased his way back into Hollywood's good graces in 1999 with a couple of successful comedies in Life and Blue Streak, but he also found his way back into the tabloids. While preparing for his next film, Big Mama's House, Lawrence slipped into a 3-day coma and very nearly died when he collapsed while training in his Big Mama fat suit in 100-degree heat. The production was delayed while he recovered, but the time off did not hurt. When the film finally arrived in theaters in 2000, it proved a box office behemoth, raking in close to $200 million worldwide. Just like that, Martin Lawrence was back on top. Unfortunately, Lawrence followed his Big Mama success with a string of genuine misfires. Worst the worst that could happen. Black Knight and National Security all underperformed, and in spite of solid box office for Bad Boys 2, a Big Mama's House sequel, and the suburban biker comedy Wild Hogs, he has not managed to right the ship for good. The past 10 years have seen the actor's big screen appeal in steady decline behind substandard comedies like Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, and Big Mamas like Father father-like son. Though Lawrence's talent and dedication have never been in doubt, one has to wonder how many more chances are left. With his movies continuing to miss the mark, Lawrence wisely tried to turn to the medium he once dominated, television. Unfortunately, TV has proven a struggle for the actor as well. In the past 5 years alone, Lawrence has seen networks repeatedly pass on pilots. And the one series that did get picked up, Kelsey Grammer Co-Starrer Partners, lasted just 10 episodes before getting the X. Somehow the small screen always felt a bit too small for Lawrence. Big personality and a return to film always seemed like an inevitability. No role seemed better suited to get Lawrence back on track than a return to his big screen breakout as Marcus from Bad Boys. After all, fans of the first two films have been clamoring for a third for years. After an extending period in development, Limbo, Bad Boys 3, also known as Bad Boys for Life, got some good news when writer-director Joey Carnahan came abroad and a fourth film was even in the works. But just as things got cooking, the pieces holding BB3 together fell apart. Carnahan left the project. Will Smith's availability became a major problem and the studio eventually pulled the film from its release slate. Like that, Lawrence's big screen comeback was over before it even began. Comedic styling have changed dramatically since Lawrence broke through in the early 90s, and many of the comedy kings from that decade are no longer wearing their crowns. Lawrence's observational, racially charged approach may not jive well into the dry, self-deprecating and politically focused wit that dominates the current stand-up scene, let alone the slipstream, sex-crazed, out-to-shock approach that plays in theaters. One has to wonder whether Lawrence's inability to change with the times is ultimately why Hollywood is no longer knocking at his door. Still, with over 5 decades of life under his belt and nothing to lose, Lawrence decided to take his talents back to the stand-up stage. Last year, Martin Lawrence Doing Time premiered on Showtime in September 2016, marking his first stand-up film in almost 15 years. Sadly, the Showtime special did not put Lawrence back into the spotlight. Doing Time arrived with little fanfare, was met with critical indifference, and overall suggested he may have lost a step, but as with any other creative venture, there's also the possibility that he had needed to get warmed up again. While Martin Lawrence does not seem to have any projects in the work at the moment, his brand of comedy can still be funny. It might even be a welcome voice in today's political climate, given a few modern upgrades, of course. We are really hoping Lawrence makes that happen as soon as possible, though at this point it would seem wise for the funny man to start with a few baby steps back into the mainstream. Why not a sporting role as Bad Boys Marcus Burnett in that Bad Boys television spin-off we have been hearing so much about? That would certainly get people watching, and it might even bring Bad Boys 3 back to life. Here's hoping. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share, comment and subscribe.